Norma's going to go through the affordable housing plan that we put together. It was long in awaiting. We originally had hoped to have it done sooner, but we knew that we needed a basis of fact and intellectual understanding to describe what the affordable housing challenges were here in the county. We all are aware we had a housing lawsuit with the federal government that took quite a while to be resolved. It's not officially resolved yet, but for all intents and purposes it was. My predecessor administration completed the amount of affordable housing units that were required in the plan and zoning plans and so forth. So now we're looking prospectively as to what the challenges are, and this report, as Norma goes through it, will highlight some of the numbers. What this is not is an allocation plan. Norma will highlight that again in a few seconds. The past couple of plans that have come out, I know I'm stealing her first slide, because we've been through this about 8 times together, she and I. The prior plans that were done gave a community name and a number attached to it. And immediately, everything that had to do with the study was forgotten, and a person would say, oh, my community has to reduce 150 units, how are we going to do that? And we immediately got to a contentious place. We weren't seeking to do that with this. We want to lay out what the challenges are. Things have changed over the years, and I think any of us who've been here for any length of time understand that. There are different demands in the marketplace. You're living it every day. And we in government are generally very slow to respond to things that happen differently. It was, and I know it wasn't mentioned in my resume, as Tim pointed out, I had a 20-year career in marketing, and things changed dramatically in the way you go about marketing a product or a service. That taught me that I have to be flexible and constantly try to deal with issues as they lay before us. So Norma and Blanca will give into you that in a few seconds. I just want to mention, though, when I'm in a room like this, I see a lot of people that I know, and most importantly, that I rely on for good, solid input. Over the years, Richard Hyman, who's now chair of our planning board, has held many positions in the county. He's consulted on many projects. He is one of the key players from outside the official family of the administration as chair of the planning board that brings his expertise into the family. We have people like Ken Finger and Bob Sorensen. I see from Mamaroneck, both Murphys and Stillmans, and people that I've spent a lot of years working with, all of whom help us frame the challenges ahead. Because these are not easy days. They're not easy days to construct. They're not easy days to maintain. And we have a whole new set of people that are looking for housing in a very different way than they've done historically. It requires us to be flexible. And in tracking who those people are, this little graphic that I'll take the next and final 2 minutes of my presentation to talk about is something that's at hand right now that's very important. And that is Census 2020, making sure we have as complete a count as we can across Westchester County. Westchester County, at the last census, was determined to have slightly under 1 million people, 974,000, I think is the rounded number. But I'll use Richard and Bob as co-conspirators on this. I live right next door to Portchester, one town away. Portchester in that census came in at 30,000 people. And Richard, Bob, and I will give you $100 if you can find any less than 35 to 40,000 people in that community. Because there was an undercount, and the undercount was for lots of different reasons. It's people who live in multifamily buildings, people who are immigrants, not comfortable with the English language as a primary language, people who are particularly old, maybe young children that weren't counted. Well, whatever it is, Portchester, the community, did not get its fair share of money that's allocated based on population. And by extension, if that's true in Yonkers and Mount Vernon and other parts of this county, Westchester County did not get its fair share of money and, of course, political representation, which follows the census. So we're making an all-out effort as a county government in concert with the state government and municipal governments as never before. I've lived through in public office 3 prior census takings. I've never seen the energy that's going into it to try to make sure that we alert everybody to the importance of filling out the census forms accurately. Now, we don't fill out the forms. What we do is make sure we address the objections that people have and alert them so that when the first round of this comes in April, I think it's April 1st, those of us who are comfortable operating on our computers, we will get information, a code, we can fill it out, go in, and finish the census form online. That's great. Not everybody has that type of comfort level or access to computer material. So mail forms will follow, and then at some point in time, the traditional guy with the clipboard going down the block knocking on doors. But you know better than I do how hard it is to track residents within a multifamily situation. It's hard enough to track whether the person who has the main name on the lease in the apartment or if the co-op is being sublet, that person exists, much less how many other people are in that family. And we need to try to understand and know that. So we do need your help. I believe Norma's going to touch on this a little bit, and Blanca will, but there are things that you can do for those of you who are managing multifamily buildings that can help the process. You can put up some signs appropriately in the lobby, wherever you have that opportunity, so people can see that there's a census situation. There may well be a presentation to the people in the building. If you have a community room or the lobby where people can come and they can get basic information on the census so that they have every opportunity to understand why it's important and why it's important for us that they be counted. So we encourage you to help us do that process. The process begins April. It will end before the end of the year. It's one of those projects that gets done within real time and it's over with. And we hope the numbers will be accurate. We don't want to overcount anybody, or we don't want to be undercounted. And that is preparatory for the things we're going to fight for. Because when we're fighting for assistance to help us build affordable housing, it's going to be based in part on what our population is. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to thank you for the opportunity to say hello. There are many other issues in county government we should talk about. I think Tim, Jeff, and others will create a forum. I'm happy to come back, sit with small groups of people, large groups of people, specialized areas of interest. We'll bring a county legislator or two, and we'll try to make some progress on issues that are important to you. And everything's on the table. And as my friends know, you can talk to the Murphys and the Stillmans. I take negative feedback as well as positive feedback. And as long as we can have a cup of coffee while we're talking, we'll be fine. We'll make some progress.